John came to me and he said, okay, I've got this manuscript. And so the person who worked before me as a researcher said she submitted it to the publisher. The publisher wasn't happy with it. They sent it back. See what you can do with it. I'll see you in 6 weeks because I'm going on the road speaking. I'll see you when I get back. So he handed me this manuscript, and that was my first big assignment that summer. And that manuscript was Developing the Leaders Around You, John's second big leadership book. So I became a writer right out of the gate. I worked on that manuscript, and it was funny. As I went through it, the first chapter was pretty good. I didn't really need to do much with that, but the second chapter was pretty rocky. So I started working on rewriting that, and I can't remember if it was when I was in the second chapter or the third chapter. I was looking through this office that I had, and there were file drawers, and I started looking in these file drawers, and in a file drawer were outlines to every one of the chapters of this book, of this manuscript I was working on. And John is a meticulous outliner. He's very, very disciplined. He meticulously outlines his speaking, and he had done the same kind of outline for each chapter of this book. So I thought, well, the heck with this manuscript. From then on, I kept what I had already worked on, but for the rest of the book, I worked from the outlines and worked on that book and fleshed it out. And the last chapter we had to rethink, but the rest of it, was really, really well thought out. And when I got that finished, I gave it to John. I said, "What do you think?" He said, "Well, let's see what the editor thinks." So we sent it off to the publisher, and back then, first publisher we worked with was a guy named Bruce Nygren, a veteran. And he said, I think it's good. And John said, well, then I think it's good. I think if Bruce had said, this is really bad, John, it doesn't work, I would have worked for John for those 2 months, and then I'd have been on the road. But as it turned out, he was happy with that. The editor was happy with it. And I actually worked on 2 additional books that first year.